At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Friday morning to you. Happy November 1st. Yeah, it is November 1st. We are in November. This is the month of Thanksgiving. So we've been talking all about Halloween for the last several weeks now. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. And then after that, well, yeah, Christmas, Hanukkah, the holidays, right? We're coming around that corner, folks, and things are going to start getting more and more crazy, I think, for a lot of people here as we start organizing events and parties and trying to not eat so many sweets and bad stuff for you. It's always hard during this time of the year. I tell you what, I ate, and let me tell you something. You all know I try to stay healthy, right? But when there's sugar in the house like that, when you have loads of candy bars and stuff like that, you can't stay away from it. It's an addiction. It's like a drug. Sugar is a drug, and it's just terrible. But we had a lot of fun. But I tell you what, every year I don't know why I get surprised, but it's just lines of kids. There are times when I'm just standing out there for a good couple of minutes, and I'm just one kid after another putting candy, and they're just lined up. It's crazy. So our neighborhood, for some reason, seems to be a neighborhood where people love to, come and bring their kids. Love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But we end up at a point where we're like, all right, we're out of candy. We got to turn off the lights, and it's time to call it a night, which I don't mind. Usually by around 8 o'clock, I'm good because I've got to go to sleep anyways and be up for Coffee with Krueger and all that good stuff. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, no. All right, well. You'll have to apologize. If you're watching on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, you'll have to forgive me. I'm not going to come out of the broadcast here, but for some reason, something just happened. Nothing is being sent to YouTube or Facebook. So I am setting everything up. Unfortunately, it's a process that you've got to get going here. So same thing here. What's going on here? Weather, NorCal, 24-hour streaming channel. And I think it has partially to do with the fact that, let's just go ahead and press save. Looks like it's streaming now. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, good. We got to make sure that we're streaming to YouTube as well. Okay, it doesn't seem to be as bad as I thought it would be. All right, here we go. Let's let this repopulate. Again, if you're watching from Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, I was just kind of explaining to you what's going on here. Good morning. Welcome for those of you coming in from Facebook here. I apologize. Something happened. I thought everything was going as planned. We're streaming. Looks like we are on YouTube. I'm going to have to double check to make sure everything's going on YouTube as well. Hold on 1 second here, folks. We're going to go into YouTube, and there we go. Let's go here. Let's go to There we go. Looks like it's live. Yep. All right, good. Good. Okay. Okay, so what do you say? Scene. Here we go. Here we go with scene. Tell you what, I'm gonna let it. No, we're good. We're good. For those of you that are watching, you're watching, and we got people kind of populating there on Facebook as well. Yeah, kind of weird. Don't know exactly what happened. Let me do this real quick as well. There we go. I'm going to go over here, find post. Should say you're watching. Yep, there we go. Okay, turn that on. Now, I should be able to see your posts. If you post anything, I will now be able to see it. And if it's fun, we'll even maybe show it on the broadcast here. All right. Here we are, 6 minutes into the broadcast, and we're finally kind of on top of things here. Yes, something happened. There was an outage. For some of you, you probably didn't notice because you're probably asleep. I woke up this morning to come into work in my home studio here, and I noticed I didn't have an internet. I'm like, oh, right, here we go again, Spectrum, right? I did call their customer service. Of course, an automated message saying there was some maintenance in the area. You may see a brief outage, which it was brief. It was brief enough that it did kind of set me back a little bit here. It set me back about a half an hour. 30 minutes is valuable time when you're putting together a forecast and have to do a live stream and have to get the weather updates out. I've got the neighborhood forecast that I've got to record. And so there's a lot that I'm doing. And if you take a half hour out of that package, you're done with. So it's been kind of an interesting morning, but I'm here. And then it must have done something with my stream setup, because when I went to go stream everything, I look up and I'm like, oh, nothing's going. So there you go. Well, tell you what, we're having fun now. We're here, we're back. Everything seems to be up and running. It looks like that's great. Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, I just checked over there. That's great. Looks like I have audio, right? So there you go. All right, tell you what. This is fun. I was checking out some of my photos that were coming in this morning, and this was courtesy of Jessica. This is Weaverville Halloween. They were in downtown Weaverville. Looks like they were doing some trick-or-treating there. Looked like a nice, fun family environment out there. Weaverville, want to thank Jessica. So it looks like, I think the title that they had in there was Chucky and Rodeo Queen. Hey, you know, you can't beat that. Gotta love some of the creativity that people have. Check this out. It was spooky last night in Lookout, California. Look at that, 4,100 feet, and you can see the snow that they had. Now, this is something I was talking about with the storm systems through the week, that in Modoc County, northeastern Shasta County, kind of in the eastern mountains in general, that snow levels could be low enough that around 4,000, 4,500 feet, some people may see a dusting of snow. And I was kind of referencing El Turris, maybe Chester, maybe Viola. So it doesn't surprise me that other areas did see this as well. All right, good. Thank you for the confirmation, Curtis and Lynn, and of course, Chappie is chiming in this morning as well, saying happy November 1st. That was one wacky October. I got to agree with you. It was a weird October. All right, so yeah, that was fun. So if you want to send in a photo, by the way, you know, great photos. I want to thank everyone for doing that. If you want to send in your photos, just go to the Weather NorCal app. If you don't have it, go to your iPhone's app store, search for Weather NorCal. Go to the Google Play Store on your Android, search for Weather NorCal. Download the app for free, and you'll be able to share your photos. And play around with the app. I think you'll really like it. It's an awesome app. I love it. I've talked to a lot of people that say they love it. So yeah, it's fun. It's worthwhile checking out. By the way, yes, Saturday night, well, 2 a.m. Sunday morning is when the clocks go back 1 hour. Fall back, folks. You lose an hour. No, you gain an hour of sleep, but we're losing an hour of sunlight. Although we gain it, sunrise will be 1 hour earlier, but sunset will also be 1 hour earlier. So the days are getting shorter. That's normal, whether or not we move the clocks, right? As we get closer to winter, the winter is the shortest day of the year. Then after winter, we start seeing the days get longer again. Also, it's a friendly reminder to change the batteries in your smoke alarms. All right, there you go. All right, let's take a look at Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you that just want to check out the forecast here real quickly and get out on with your day. It's Friday. Maybe getting the kids ready for school. Maybe you're getting ready for school, or you're getting ready for work, or whatever. Let's get to Krueger's Quickcast. So this morning, there is some rain on the radar. If you live on the coast, it's been a little wet out in Del County this morning, even parts of southern Humboldt. And you can see that line. This is the leading edge of the rain that will pick up in intensity throughout the morning for the north coast. So you're going to see some of that rain kind of kicking in here. Give it another half hour, 45 minutes, and you'll be dealing with some of that wet weather. Here's the rain we saw in the last 24 hours. Wasn't very impressive, was it? Only about 1/4 of an inch for some areas. Klamath about 32/100ths. But Redding, here's what's interesting, and it was kind of frustrating, is I picked my son up from school, from cross-country practice, and it was about 5:30, a little before that actually, about 5 o'clock. And I'm driving to go pick him up. I'm like, it was sprinkling, and it was like kind of a steady sprinkle. I'm like, oh man, these kids are getting ready to go, and I'm telling people it's going to be dry and all this. I'm like, I was getting frustrated. So I was telling my son about it on the drive home, and I was telling him, oh man, I was telling people it was going to be dry. And he goes, yeah, but I heard you say this. He said, there still may be some stray sprinkles out there, even though the forecast models are picking up on it. So have your umbrella handy. So he kind of reassured me and made me feel better that you told people that they should have their umbrella handy, and you know, things can happen. So I was like, all right, that's good. But it seemed like the sky just opened up over the Redding area. Redding, city of Shasta Lake, Anderson, even down to Cottonwood, Palisadro, for example, too. And even in eastern parts of northeastern Humboldt County, places like Hoopa, for example, got to see a little bit of that as well. It wasn't for very long. I did notice that as I was passing candy out, it wasn't wet. So the trick-or-treaters, at least in my neighborhood, did not get very wet, if at all. So there you go. But anyway, with that said, that put about 800 of an inch of rainfall in the bucket for Redding at the airport. All right, again, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that much. But again, it was just these one little spots, one in the Redding area, another one in kind of the Hoopa area, Willow Creek. And that was about it. Now, of course, we did see more out towards Crescent City and Klamath, but there you go. Nothing reported for Red Bluff, Corning, Chico, but a little bit out in Oroville. Hey, this is the chain requirements. There are none. Yesterday at this time, there were plenty. And I think as we go into tonight, we may see more chain requirements, mainly east of I-5 tonight and into tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. Hatchet Mountain, good. Highway 299, 89, good. Look at Cedar Pass, though. It's clear, no chain requirements, but we still have some leftover snow on the side of the road. Gotta love that, right? Take a look at Lassen Park. Looks good at the entrance, but you can see on the side of the road, snow. Shingletown, no snow there. And of course, the Bogart Ranger Station camera looks to be down for construction. All right, here are the temperatures out there right now. Low to mid 40s in the valley, 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. And there you can see your visibility is looking pretty good out there. Yeah, 10 mile plus. We will eventually start to see some of that rain kind of pushing into parts of the north coast, and that was kind of showing up on the radar there. It's really hard to really see anything. It's still dark. You just can't, it's not even, honestly, but this is something we'll be talking about here in just a second. Look at the camera there in Crescent City. It is blowing in the wind. We've actually got a wind advisory for Del Norte and Humboldt County for today. We're going to take a closer look at that here in just a second, what the winds are doing over there and what we're expecting those winds to do later on today. But there, of course, you can see again the visibility is looking pretty good. Winds are starting to pick up in some areas. We'll get into that here in a second. But out the door this morning, 8 o'clock, yeah, showers for North Coast. Trinity County, Siskiyou, everywhere else, it will be a dry start to the day. But cool, look at the East Mountains, upper 20s. Modoc County around 30, 41 degrees in the valley, 8 o'clock this morning. A chilly start to the day. So you can see the cold front is approaching from the west. Kind of the latest forecast model data just kind of kicked in there. And there you can see that cold front that is approaching, and of course the rain that is associated with it. There is another winter weather advisory that's been issued from 5 p.m. today. What? Is that true? Is it? Yeah, no, that makes sense because that's when most of the rain will kind of kick off to the east. So from 5 p.m. today until 11 a.m. Saturday, we've got a winter weather advisory for the areas in purple. 6, maybe even upwards of 8 inches of snow is possible. Windy conditions out there as well. So looking at Futurecast, 8 o'clock this morning, storm coming from the northwest. Where does the rain hit first? Northwestern California. That pushes off to the east. By 10 a.m., we're seeing it most of it in central western Siskiyou, Del Norte, Humboldt County, and it looks like it's just hitting Trinity County. By noon, most of it's still to the north and west of the valley. So, Redding may see a few sprinkles or light showers at this point, noon today, but overall you can see it's kind of breaking apart. So even at 2 o'clock this afternoon, not much rain out there. Take a look at this though. So we're going to 4 p.m. There it is. Kind of a round of some heavier rainfall coming in this evening. By the way, and then of course as we go into 6 o'clock this evening, it pushes off to the east. You can see the snow, that's the blue. And then going into about 10 o'clock tonight, more rain off to the east here. You know what? I forgot to add something here in my, let's get that up here real quick here. And, let's put it here for now. Wanted to show you that we actually do have, let's get this kind of right settings here as well. There we go. Perfect. All right. So anyway, do want to mention, of course, you saw that with Futurecast, what it looks like. And we could be looking at the potential for some thunderstorms out there. I'm going to move this so we can talk about it a little bit more detail here during my main weather forecast. There we go. Very good. All right. Good. All right, now let's continue with Krueger's Quickcast. Not so quick anymore now that I've kind of messed things up here a little bit here. What? Come on. Where are we? There we go. Oh, so let's talk about this now. We're going to talk about the winds. There is a wind advisory for Del Norte, Humboldt counties until 5 p.m. today. Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour, gust 40 to 50. So let's take a look at the winds out there right now. So you can see right now it's windy. You saw the camera out there in Crescent City. Let's take a look at that again. Just kind of illustrate that it's windy out there. There's the camera, and the camera is blowing in the wind this morning. So that really helps to kind of illustrate what we're seeing there, the 38 mile an hour winds there in Crescent City. Now, not as bad to the south, but those will be picking up here as that cold front pushes eastward. Here's today at 10 o'clock this morning, 25, even over 40 miles per hour. So the winds will be strongest in Del Norte County. But I also want to point out, even though there's no wind advisory, which may change, we'll see, for any part of Siskiyou County, look at Shasta Valley. That's central Siskiyou County and I-5. That area of red, I mean, that's 50 miles an hour. So high profile vehicles on I-5 in Siskiyou County, be aware of that. We go into the noon hour, still gusty for the coast, still very windy. Look at that for Siskiyou County. But the winds are picking up in the valley too. So the winds will be progressively getting stronger in the valley this afternoon. There you can see by 6 p.m. the winds are dying down for the coast. Still a little breezy, gusty for the valley and eastern mountains. Then by tonight and into tomorrow, those winds will die down. Not very strong for Saturday afternoon. Sunday, a little breezy in some spots here, but nothing to be terribly concerned about. By the way, we still got to look at the humidity. Now today, of course, it's not an issue, right? We got the rain coming through. But tomorrow, look at the winds are starting, humidity is actually starting to drop. And by Sunday, we're down to the teens. It's drying out again, folks. So if we see any wind events, which I anticipate a wind event come Monday, Tuesday of next week, with humidity this low, that could elevate our fire weather risk, unfortunately. Speaking of fires, let's take a look at the Shoe Fire, now at 90% containment. And to put things in perspective, on Monday it was about 50%. It's been progressively getting better and better. Yesterday, 85%, today, now at 90%. So at this rate, if they continue the progress they're making, we could be talking about 100% containment here in the next day or two. All right, there's a look at the forecast for today. Temperatures low 60s, around 65 though for Willows and Oroville, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations. And we have also got mid to upper 50s for the coast. Okay, let's see what's going on out there for your 7-day forecast. And we've got the showers, maybe a thunderstorm today. Here, I got AM in there for Saturday. Here's the thing. For all intents and purposes, it will be dry this weekend for the valley. I put that in the AM there just so you don't get surprised if you're out at, say, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and you run into a stray sprinkle in the valley. That's it. Through the rest of the day, it's dry, and the rest of the weekend is dry all next week, looking dry. Now, again, when we look at the longer range forecast, we're going to be taking a look at the potential for showers here as we go into the weekend, because you can see for the coast, inland Trinity County, you've got you dry all weekend and dry all next week. But take a look at this. Look at Modoc, Siskiyou, Eastern Mountains. You see how we have the chance for showers in there for Saturday. don't be concerned about that. Don't cancel any outdoor plans. It's not going to be a big deal. And even that AM on Sunday, again, not a big deal. But I put that in there so you're not surprised should you get caught under one of those stray sprinkles or light showers. It's dry and warmer going through next week. All right, what do we got going on here? We're going to take a look at some of those cameras. Main Street Chico this morning. Looks like things are, well, there's a maintenance truck there getting ready to do some landscaping. Taking a look at Highway 99 at Neal Road. I don't really see a lot of cloud cover out there this morning. Looks like we've got mainly clear skies this morning and traffic is flowing smoothly. There's a look at Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Reading. Well, today is Friday. We've got our Pet of the Week at Haven Humane Society. This week we meet Odin. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. You are watching Pet of the Week. We are at Haven Humane Society. Got Katrina from Haven Humane, and we have got Odin.
Yeah.
Odin is, you think about a year old, right?
Yeah.
What kind of breed are we talking?
We have him as a lab mix.
Yeah, lab mix.
He's very distracted because he sees one of his friends in the play yard behind us. He's very, very dog social. Like, he loves playing with other dogs.
They're not that interesting. We are. We're more interesting.
But he's super friendly. Odin was adopted from us actually as a puppy. And then he was brought back to us just because he wasn't a very good fit for them anymore. But he's super sweet. He does seem to know some basic commands, and he's very friendly with people, very friendly with other animals. Definitely just has a lot of like puppy energy to him because he's only a year old.
Yeah.
So he would definitely do well with an active home, I would say.
I can definitely see it. You got the, the perky ears when they need to be perky. There's another non-interesting dog over there because we're more interesting. You know that, right? Oh, look at that. Someone loves his little doggy toys. All right, well, anything else you can think of?
Nothing too special. We have no like real big events going on or anything.
Yeah.
We're kind of wrapping up the Subaru free adoptions today.
That's today, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely come down and check us out.
Today being October 31st, that's when the special ends. So if you're watching on the 31st, you're in good shape. Otherwise, if you're watching by November 1st or thereafter, the special will have ended.
Yes, well, we'll still have plenty of dogs.
But it doesn't matter because you're still going to want to bring this guy home. If you're interested, by the way, call the number at the bottom of your screen. They'll take care of you. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you next week for Pet of the Week. Well, there you have it. Odin is ready for his forever home. After kind of hanging out with him a little bit here, definitely had a lot of that puppy energy, kind of, running around, having a good time. But it's a lot of fun. Those puppy years are fun. I think about my dog. It's kind of mellowed out over the years, and her energy is still great. She can kind of boost that energy when she needs to. But boy, when she was a puppy, holy cow, what a handful. But that's part of the journey. Why we really love our pets. You kind of go through all those different phases in their life, and it's such just a rewarding experience being a pet owner. I think many of you who have dogs or cats or anything, you understand that and what that can mean. And quite honestly, before we got Nessie just a few years ago, I really hadn't had a lot of pets. I had a few pets growing up as a kid, but I feel like as though I was missed out on a big part of my life without having really that many pets. So I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, and if you are interested in a pet, Haven Humane Society is a great place to start. You may not find what you're looking for, and that's fine, but at least that's where you should start, because sometimes you never know. You can find that perfect dog right there, and it may not be a puppy sometimes. It may be, a year, 2, 3 years old, but that's fine, especially if you don't want to deal with the puppy years. All right, so that's enough with that. Let's get into the deeper dive forecast now. And of course, as you know, it's sponsored by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Thank you to Wind River for their support. All right, let's take a look at that radar. You can see that rain that is approaching this morning. We did see a light a couple hours ago towards Del Norte, even into southern Humboldt County. But the main band of rain, at least the leading edge of that, that's what's going to be pushing in here in the next, say, 20, 30, 40 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. Look at the rainfall totals we did see. Look at that. At the Reading Airport, under a tenth of an inch of rainfall. The skies kind of opened up. Late afternoon, early evening here around the Reading area, which includes Anderson, Cottonwood, Palisadro. Didn't quite make it down to Red Bluff, as you can see, nothing reported there, as well as Corning or Chico. But Oroville, yeah, 0.02 of an inch of rain. And of course, a little bit more off to the west too. Hoopa, 2100s, Willow Creek, about 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. So again, it just depends on where you are. Right now, we're looking at temperatures low to mid 40s in the valley, 20s and 30s for the higher elevations, although Mount Shasta about 43. Mid 50s, mid to upper 50s right now for the coast. So your headlines, cool and unsettled through Saturday morning, possible chain requirements again east of I-5 this evening into tonight. But I will say this about the snow coming through that region. I think the snow levels will be just a tad higher. So the amount of chain requirements may not be as extensive as we saw with the first storm. But still, if you're traveling this evening east of I-5 in the mountains, check the latest road conditions and make sure you have chains handy too. Dry and warmer this weekend into next week, dry and warmer for next week as well. All right, so there's a look at the cold front that is approaching. That's what's going to be coming in here today. We're already starting to see the rain approaching the coast. That'll all be pushing eastward. We also have a winter weather advisory for 5 o'clock this evening through 11 a.m. Saturday. Could see upwards of 6, maybe even 7 or 8 inches of snow above 6,000 feet. So if you remember, the winter weather advisory was for above 5 or 6,000 feet. But now it's just saying above 6,000 feet. So again, it's going to be slightly higher than it was with the last storm. And by the way, windy out there as well. And that's going to maybe create some of that blowing snow out there as well. Also, kind of on a separate topic, the potential for thunderstorms in the areas in green here. Yesterday, I didn't show you this, but yesterday it was just kind of showing you along the coast. I didn't quite agree with that, and that's why I didn't really talk about that. So you can see now, kind of a little bit better, and quite honestly, for all intents and purposes, we could even still see some thunderstorms here outside of the areas in green. So I think everybody in Northern California has a chance for thunderstorms. That doesn't mean you will. It just means the chance is there. Cool and unstable air is moving in. This morning, 8 a.m., there's that leading edge of the rain. And as expected, because the rain's coming in from the northwest, where's the rain hit first? Yeah, the northwestern parts of the state. And that's typically where we see most of the rain. So 8 o'clock this morning, it's getting a bit wet off towards Del Norte County, northern Humboldt, western Siskiyou. By noon, most of the rain still to the north and west, but Trinity, Siskiyou, Del Norte, Humboldt, all seeing that rain. And look at this too. If you look closely, here's a look at Scott Mountain. It's kind of hard to see, unfortunately, the Mount Shasta is covering it up. But I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of snow at that point on Scott Mountain Highway 3. But just be aware that you may run into some snowflakes up there. It's still dry though, maybe a stray sprinkle by noon. Now by 4 o'clock, we're going to kind of see another band develop here over the valley. So this is when I think probably mid to late afternoon, when we can see the heaviest rainfall for the valley. This might be overdoing it and showing just how intense the rain is, but you get the idea. We could see some brief periods of moderate to heavy rainfall, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm as well. But you can see not a lot of snow still at this point. It's going to lower a bit as we go into the evening. Here's 6 o'clock. Now we're seeing more snow off to the east here. This is when we could start to see some chain requirements on some of the higher mountain passes. Again, mainly above 5, probably closer to 6,000 feet, quite honestly. But we're quieting things down. The main band is now off to the east. We go into about 10 o'clock tonight. Most of it's still to the east, some heavier rainfall, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, and some of the snow in the higher elevations. We're still seeing some stray showers, even from parts of the valley and to the west as well. That's 10 o'clock tonight. We haven't even gotten to the weekend yet, folks. Here we go. Now we're going to the weekend. Now you may recall when we were looking at the 7-day forecast in Krueger's Quickcast, I was kind of talking about the potential for some rain and snow in some of the higher elevations through the day on Saturday. But I want to show you just how insignificant it is. Now, first of all, tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., you see how it's even close to the valley. So if you're in the valley early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., maybe you're up early, you're out and about, don't be surprised if you see a stray sprinkle. Early tomorrow morning. We're talking 5 a.m. You can see some of the snow flurries still kind of left over in Lassen, Plumas, even in parts of Modoc County. But you see how it just kind of breaks apart. So through the day on Saturday, you see how we have a couple specks here. I've got the chance in there for Del Norte, Siskiyou, Modoc, and basically Lassen and Plumas counties for tomorrow through the day. But for all intents and purposes, it's going to be dry. But I don't want you to be surprised if you're out and about and you get caught under a stray sprinkle. That's it for Saturday. Sunday morning, look at that. It still lingers. So I still have the lingering possibility for Siskiyou, Modoc, maybe even Lassen, but really, quite honestly, it'd probably just be here. And then, now you can see it clearing out for Sunday. So it's just kind of that lingering around. It's a bit of annoying, not only for those of you that have to deal with it, but for me as a forecaster, I'm like, just it's not even helping anything, even if we get anything out of it. So it's just more of a nuisance than anything else. It's annoying. All right. So here we go. Forecast rain totals. These are not to be exact. Don't take these to be exact. But you can see where most of the rain is off to the north and west. I think, yeah, I put it in here. This is a different model here. I think this is a good representation of what we expect here for today and tomorrow. And really most of it's today and tonight. See the darker green? That's 1/4 of an inch. This right here is about 1/10 of an inch. And then of course the lighter green is 1/100. So for the valley, I think some of us, especially to the north, especially down to the south near Chico, you could see upwards of 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Again, most of it off to the west. And then, of course, you can see to the east, not quite as much either. But you can see in the Warner Mountains there, looks pretty impressive there, with the darker blue at about 1/2 of an inch of rainfall there. Now, what I did here with this forecast road conditions is I took out the ice and the green and the rain, because I just want to illustrate where the snow is going to be. You can see this morning, there's not much going on, right? Now I'm going to take you into about 5 o'clock today. We're starting to see snow pick up. There's a look at Scott Mountain, not much going on there. Cedar Pass still looks okay. Really, everyone looks okay, even at 5 o'clock this evening. But as we go into the overnight hours, look what happens. We're starting to see more snow. But if you remember when we looked at this during the first storm, there was a lot more snow on the map here. So this is why I expect still there would be the potential, say around Cedar Pass, maybe Bogard Ranger Station, maybe around Chester, maybe Scott Mountain. All of that seeing the potential for some chain requirements tonight, early tomorrow morning. But then conditions will improve after that and be looking at drier conditions. But taking a look at the snow total forecast, I mean less than 1 foot of snow for some of the highest elevations. And there's still maybe the potential for a dusting of snow down to about 4,000 feet. Excuse me. So, you know, a lot of you that are at that 4,000 foot range, oh boy, hold on a second. I had to clear my throat. It was just kind of... All right, so anyway, here you can see that storm system on Friday, that's today, that's going to be pushing through. Then on Saturday, things kind of lingering around. Sunday, it's completely dry for the most part. And then what we're going to see happen here as we go into Monday, look at that. We actually have a system that may just clip Northern California on Monday. I don't have it in the forecast, but we could see a stray shower Monday into Tuesday for places like Del Norte, northern Siskiyou, and into Modoc County as well. Meanwhile, it's mainly up to our north. Another thing I've got my eyes on too is the potential for a wind event for Monday into Tuesday. As this area of low pressure kicks off to our east, high pressure to our west, classic setup for some winds. Now, when we saw and we're looking at the winds and of course then the humidity, humidities are dropping on Sunday because it's drying out down to the teens. So most likely it'll also be very dry. So even though we're November, I think we may see some elevated fire weather risk here for Monday, Tuesday. We'll have to kind of watch for that as we go into early next week. In the meantime, that will then, of course, fizzle out. We'll see the winds die down by the end of the week. Now, I've also been watching this activity here. This is a snapshot of the forecast for next Friday, so a week from today. This looks like it's trying to move in, and this high pressure is kind of getting weaker. But the thing is, these are fairly weak storms, number one, and it looks like most of the energy is going to push up to our north. Look at Saturday. You see how that line just kind of broke apart? This may come in maybe that next Sunday, but overall, I'm just not seeing a lot of activity out there. So even though we're drying things out next week, we may keep it dry, possibly even through next weekend. Drier than normal conditions looking at that long range. That's what the Climate Prediction Center is showing. And this is, again, just a fun snapshot to show you. Here's what the entire month of October looked like temperature-wise. Remember October 1st and 2nd in Redding? 102 degrees. It did drop a little bit below 100 degrees after that, but then back up to 102 on the 6th and 7th. But look at this past week. So we started 100 degrees, started in this, and ended the month in the 60s. Gotta love that. But we are seeing warmer than normal conditions here in the long range. And you can see that clearly here. See how temperatures are climbing? Low 70s, right around normal for basically all of next week. And then we see a dip in our temperatures for this upcoming week, for that next weekend. Excuse me. All right, so there's your wave heights. Fairly high for today. looks like they're starting to subside a little bit here going into your Saturday. But with all that said, the marine forecast, south winds 25-30 knots. There is a gale warning for today. Then it may be possibly extended into Saturday. We'll see. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures low to mid 50s along the Highway 299 corridor. There you can see Trinity Center about 49, 52 degrees in Coffee Creek. All right, we take you to the south. There you can see Ruth about 50, 48 degrees for Mad River, and 52 degrees out in Hyam Palm. There you can see the dry conditions over the weekend, dry through next week. Southern Humboldt County, 60 degrees for Garberville, 56 degrees in Honeydew, 57 out in Red Crest. Up north, 59 for Ferndale, 57 out in Fortuna. Rio Dell, about 55 degrees. We got those dry conditions over the weekend and dry through next week. Now, as we take it up to the north, a place like Hoopa, yeah, you've got the showers today, maybe a thunderstorm. Saturday should be dry. However, as we look at northern Humboldt and into especially Del Norte County, we may see a chance through the day on Saturday. But then by Sunday, it's all pretty much done with. We're dry through next week. With the exception, again, maybe on Monday. You saw that on Futurecast. Here's a look at Siskiyou County. Temperatures in the mid-50s for the Highway 96 corridor. I-5 corridor, temperatures in the low 50s. For Scott Valley, we're talking 50 out in Etna, 49 degrees for Callahan, and 51 degrees for Fort Jones. All right, let's take a look at the central and eastern Siskiyou County. 46 degrees for Weed, 42 degrees in Tennant, and 45 degrees in McLeod. We take out to Modoc County today, and temperatures mainly in the 40s, although likely about 51 degrees. Here's a look at your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. 49 degrees for Montgomery Creek. I've still got snow levels, by the way, around 5,000 feet here, places like Bernie. So Bernie, no snow for you. But as you go up to about 5,000 feet, maybe some snow there. There's a look at the Lake Elsinore. Temperatures mainly in the upper 40s, low 50s around the lake. And for the park, temperatures in the 30s and some low 40s. Take you to the south, you can see Paradise, a high today of about 57 degrees. 47 in Janesville and Susanville, a high of about 55 degrees. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by our friends at Walgamuth Painting. The temperatures in the low 60s for your daytime highs. Again, I have included just a slight chance for a morning sprinkle for those of us in the valley, but mainly dry for the weekend and getting warmer too. In fact, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. We got the mid-60s for Saturday, Sunday, and then it looks like temperatures in the low 70s as we go into Monday through Thursday. Of course, don't forget to set those clocks back an hour. Now, a lot of us have phones and devices that are connected to the internet. Even our clocks in our cars are typically connected to the internet as well. So those typically change by themselves. But if you have an analog clock that's not connected to the internet, you're going to need to set that back an hour yourself. Otherwise, you may get confused. So, daylight saving time ends, folks. And that means the sun rise a little bit earlier, but the sunset is also earlier. So it's going to get darker sooner and later in the day. So yeah, kind of a quick reminder. So we got, excuse me, hold on. I think I cleared out my throat enough there. David Hoffman saying, daylight saving this weekend. I'm waking up in time for a nap. Yes, absolutely. Chrissy Bentley. Oh, well, thank you. That is very nice. We've got, this is a nice thing. I just wanted to share this with you. We've got Chrissy Bentley saying, I love listening to your forecast. You're easy listening for me. Thank you. Well, thank you, Chrissy. I certainly appreciate that. I appreciate those comments. And obviously, if you're watching here on Facebook, that's great. By the way, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, also if you have a smart TV with YouTube, great resource. And you can watch the live 24-hour streaming channel, which then I come on live at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. And you can watch while you're getting ready in the morning. It's a great place to kind of check out. Let's see here. There you go. Yeah, Chabby, it's kind of what I was talking about with the annoying thing. She says, I hate it when it rains just enough to speckle my car. It needs to rain enough to clean my car. Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, again, and that's what I was kind of talking about with this. It's more of a nuisance that we're seeing here on Saturday and even Sunday morning for some of the higher elevations, because it's not going to be beneficial rain at all. So not enough to really cancel any of those outdoor plans. All right, folks. Well, that is going to pretty much do it for us today. I am expecting it to be really actually kind of a nice weekend. And next week we'll be looking at dry conditions as well. Bit of interesting programming mentioning here. Haven't 100% completely communicated with. By the way, and for those of you that might get confused, I just wanted to give you a quick update. Brian Wilson, who has been my weekend meteorologist for as long as he's been doing weekends for me, has changed his name. His name is now Chase. Apparently his middle name has always been Chase, and his friends and family have always called him Chase. So he's decided to go with that name. So we all have known him as Brian for as long as we've known him here at Weather NorCal, but now his name is Chase. So I will start saying Chase, who will be doing the weekend whenever I mention him. Just want to give you a heads up on that. By the way, so Chase is going to need tomorrow afternoon off. So he'll be doing the morning update for you tomorrow morning. Then I'll be doing the noon and afternoon update for you. And I believe he will be back for all three weathercasts on Sunday, 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. And then, of course, I'll be back on Monday. And yes, my name is still Mike. It always will be. I don't have any I'm too old to change my name. My mom did, actually, though. My mom I remember when she turned 50, she legally changed her name. Her nickname for many, many years, her name is Barb, but her nickname was always Beautiful Barb. People always called her, hey, Beautiful Barb. People just called her Beautiful. Hey, Beautiful. So when she turned 50, she legally changed her name to Beautiful Barb. And she had it put on her credit cards. And so when she would go use the credit card at a grocery store, for example, say, oh, do you own a boutique, a beauty store? Well, my mom was like, no, that's just my name. So, people do it. People change their name. And there's people just, it's not a big deal. It happens. So there you go. All right, that's going to do it. I think the music's been going on this whole time as well. So there you go. Kind of wrapping up the show here. So let's take a look at some of the cameras as we wrap things up. And in the meantime, you have yourselves a great weekend. And we will see you right back here on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. on Monday. Have a great day and have a great weekend.